guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here. So today we're talking about mental health and we're trying something different. As you can see, I have a guest sitting here with me. This is Robert.
Hi everybody.
He is a photographer and YouTuber. I'll be linking his info down below so you guys can check it out. Robert is a good friend of mine that has also suffered with some mental health struggles. So we are going to chat a little bit about our experiences with it and what we have found to help. So with that being said, let's roll that intro and we'll get into it.
What is up? Baby, I don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Alrighty, so in all seriousness, if you're familiar with my channel at all, I have talked about my struggles with anxiety and stress. And so here today, Robert is going to share his experiences as well. We'll be asking each other questions and have a little chitty chat. So let's get started. So can you tell us a little about your experience with mental struggles?
Ever since I was young, I've dealt with things like anxiety, stress. It's usually fueled by fears of things that are self-doubting. You go through all these things thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I don't know if I can actually do this. And that always, racks your brain into a state of anxiety because you're just worried about things. I've had experiences in my life that, were fairly traumatic throughout, my whole teenage life, young adulthood, everything like that. I've had a lot of dishonesty in my life, which causes some trust issues. And working through all of that has just been, it's a lot of hurdles, but every hurdle's worth it, right? At the end of the day, you just got to keep going and identify all of your problems. So if you have anxiety from, say, fears, you're worried about, whether or not you're good enough, well, you have to find ways to make yourself feel like you're good enough. And that's what I've been working with. Stuff like when you're dealing with PTSD, as we all know, post-traumatic stress disorder, you have something experience in your life that causes you a lot of stress in one moment that it affects you. It affects everything about you. If you have complex PTSD, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more intense, but it's just kind of the same treatment, really, at the same time. So you just have to work through it all. I'm not really going to go into any real hard examples of things. Just know that it's all something you can work through, right? With a lot of self-doubt that people can have, it usually stems from, when you're a child, you go through things, whether it's at school or whether it's at home. You grow up in this constant state of worry, or people are not giving you the right type of affirmations that say, hey, you're doing a good job, or give you that validation on what you're doing. It's a healthy validation, though, not a superficial validation. And I feel like a lot of kids these days, they get that superficial validation that's really, it's not going to create a foundation of confidence going into adulthood. You really want to have, your fears in check, so that you're not allowing your fears to dictate terms in your life. Having fear is not a bad thing. Having fear tell you what to do is. And, when you have that type of situation, then you're spiraling in all of that. It can create a serious wave of depression that affects, everything. It affects your ability to socialize. It affects your ability to work. It affects, it affects everything. Do you have any points you want to make on depression or anything like that?
The only thing that I was going to say is that fear is the only thing that you shouldn't believe in. That's the only thing that's going to lie to you is fear. If you let it stop you, you're not going to grow. You're not going to do anything with your life. You're just going to be, stagnant. And honestly, to me, the biggest fear is to stay stagnant. So, I rather fight against fear than let fear win. So that's basically my thing. don't have a lot on depression, but
Yeah, your fear should be a motivator to get over things, not, a weight holding you down.
so what solutions have you found to manage your fear and self-doubt?
And so to manage all of that, it comes from building trust in yourself. So if you want to not be so afraid of things or not doubt yourself, you need to, set a standard for yourself that you can meet that's going to build that self-trust. So when you look at yourself, you go, yes, I've done these things, yes, I can do that, yes, I do deserve this, that, or the other thing. It's not about, you have to find a way to trust that you deserve more than what you're giving yourself, and then you can build from there. And just kind of add to that, it's like when you learn to trust yourself, you start surrounding yourself with much better people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to help you build self-confidence too, because having good people around you, they're going to find ways to build you up. They're going to find ways to assert that you are in fact doing the right things, you're on the right path. When you're surrounded by those types of people, it's just easier that way. When you're surrounded with the wrong type of people, they're going to take advantage of you, which fuels doubt. Right people will encourage and help you develop.
I agree with that. How have you learned to trust yourself?
So, just to start with that, you have to set a standard for yourself. So you have to decide where your limits are and how you are going to enforce those limits. You can't, you have to be respectful too to other people, but you have to respect yourself first. When it comes to setting those limits, if you don't know, then you need to start setting goals to build that trust. If you're having a hard time with motivation, you need to start small. And I mean, your first goal can be make your bed in the morning and do it every day for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your first goal, is making your bed every day for a week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You attain that, now you've built some motivation, you've built a routine, you've built, trust in yourself to actually do something on a daily basis. Then you can grow from there. You can say, you want to, get exercise, get more fit. Okay, well now, you've got to set aside time. You've got to say, okay, I'm going to make my bed in the morning. That's the first goal. Second goal is I'm going to exercise for 15 minutes a day. Start attaining that goal. That will build self-confidence, which will then help you learn to trust yourself, because if you can do these little goals and you can do multiple of them and grow these bigger goals, then you can trust yourself to do these things, which will help you in the long term. It'll help you understand who you are as an individual and what you want out of life, which a lot of people have a hard time with because they're not living in a structure. I'm not talking about a routine here where it's like you go do this, that. No, I'm saying, your standards, a set of structure for your life, what you do and how you do it. That's more important than, well, I got to be at the grocery store from 6:30 to 7. No, just go to the grocery store.
So it's having discipline, but in a different way, to help yourself grow kind of thing. It's not just, I feel like most people take discipline just for they just do it for, oh, I want to get healthy and go to the gym and eat this specific kind of food or whatever. But yeah. People only think, well, not everybody thinks, but if you only have discipline for that, and that's not just, you don't only need discipline just for that one thing. You can have it for everything in order to grow, to change, but you need to have the motivation to do it.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. And I think a lot of people, what you see in the world now, and I'm not saying this is everybody, this is just something I've noticed. A lot of people tend to skip the precursors to discipline. They think, okay, I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to lose all this weight and take better care of myself. Okay, that's awesome. Those are great goals to have. But if you don't have the structure to maintain that discipline, then how can you be disciplined if you don't have a structure to actually, a foundation to do those things? And that's why when I say with self-confidence and self-trust, if you start small, little victories, build that up, then gaining that discipline becomes a lot easier because it's sitting on a more solid foundation.
But you also have to be like open to like if things kind of change or plans change or routine changes or whatever, because you can't just be so stuck in the routine or in the discipline and just, you kind of have to be a little more flexible though too, right? Like, I mean, like, it's not going to really help you if, you're stuck one way and then you can't be flexible to try something new or just go out and do something that wasn't actually planned, right?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. And that flexibility that comes from, that's something that people have to develop with this as well, because if you think about it, if you lack self-confidence, if you lack in self-trust, then when adversity or variety hit you and it seems change, you can't be flexible because you can't trust yourself to shift in that right way. And so if you start out with your goals, keeping that in mind, that life's not always going to be A, B, C, D, E. Occasionally they're going to throw a 3 in there and knock you off your game, right? You got to be able to handle that, and that's part of self-confidence. And the first thing that has to go out the door is self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody throws a wrench in your plans and you're heavy on self-doubt, you're not going to be able to analyze that situation and make a mature response
mm-hmm.
to that change in scenario. And this can happen anyway. I mean, you can be, hanging out with your spouse and then plans change and now you're in a group setting, and that's fine. But you have to be able to just be like, just embrace that group setting and just make the best of it, enjoy it. And then, later you can pick up where you left off. You can just hang out with your spouse. Or vice versa, right? You could want a group setting, but then something important happens. You've got to prioritize. I mean, I think personally, if you're planning to hang out with your buddies and your spouse is like, hey, like I need you, it's really important, whatever that may be. Okay, well, your buddies can wait a couple hours. Just go hang out, just go help your spouse with whatever it is. But that's part of having that self-confidence, is like being able to shift gears, without worrying about how it's going to affect the rest of your life.
So with all that being said, what is your thoughts on trying to have too much control over yourself in your life?
So control is good. Like, you want to maintain a certain amount of self-control, but that comes back on the diversity. The world and life and everything they say about is it's all about change. Change is going to happen whether you want it to or not. And part of control, like for yourself, is also embracing change. Control is not necessarily stopping change, it's about how you adapt to change. You don't control not changing, you control how you change. If you're gonna grow as an individual and something comes up in your life, you need to take advantage of that blessing. Something's gonna change, and instead of allowing that change to hinder you because of your self-doubt, you need to kind of roll with it and find the best part of it and embrace that and keep that going. Like, if you have something in your life that is, a constant, for example, not necessarily like in the sense of like, that clock is constantly a minute off. I mean like a constant in the sense of like, you have someone that is trustworthy, cares about you, wants to grow with you or help you grow, and things in your life are changing. You need to embrace that individual or group or anything like that that's wanting that for you, so that as your life changes, you have this like solid, almost like a navigational point to go off of. Like, somebody else is there to help guide you through the storm kind of thing of change. And if you don't have that, then you need to find that. And you need to keep it. Period. Period.
So, and also with all that though too, you have to be like open-minded and not so closed off to like trying different things in order to better yourself and better all like depression, anxiety, fear, like PTSD, all of that.
Yeah. Well, and that comes back down to the self-confidence thing again. Like if you're gonna, like you have to try new things to grow. You just, that's how it works. You try new things, and if you can develop a system of self-confidence and self-trust, then as you try new things, you can sort them out. Like, you know, you can say, oh yeah, bocce ball was awesome, I'm gonna keep doing that, but Thai food, no, that's bad. It's, if you don't have self-confidence or anything like, or self-control, or, you know, any type of like self-standard, you can't sort those things out. So you have to develop that first. And then, yeah, try all the new things. Go on a trip, ride a train, get up on a plane. It's up to you guys, but do these things and then sort them out. Maybe you take trips. Maybe you liked Italy, but not Greece. So go to Italy. Maybe you like pasta, but not spaghetti. Okay, well then eat rigatoni. I don't know. Like it's, you know, it's, but you have to learn these things. Maybe you like, you know, mountain climbing. Well, mountain climbing has a lot of great benefits to it. You know, it's going to help keep you in shape. You know, it gets you outdoors, it's more grounding. It has a lot of benefits to it. So choosing mountain climbing over, say, I don't know, Halo, you know, which one are you gonna pick? Are you gonna go outside and get exercise, or are you gonna sit on a couch like a lump and play a video game? Which one is gonna give you the better benefits? And it's up to you, right? You have to decide.
So, what are your thoughts on going to like therapy, or giving a therapist a call, or, you know, like just kind of doing something, even if it's just like a first step and you don't know if it's right? Like, what's your thought on like therapy, going and talking to them and actually really trying to talk to them, not just going because people say that you should go, or, you know?
Yeah, fair question. So honestly, the only thing I can say about that is do it. Just do it. Do it. Go. Therapists are nice because, okay, first of all, they're trained to understand the psyche a bit better. They're trained to know more about what, you know, people go through. And you don't know your therapist. Your therapist doesn't know you when you first come in. There's no bias there. It's literally you have an unbiased third person perspective on your life and how you live it. You have to be open, you have to be honest with them, of course, so that they give you the best advice. But if you can do that, you're literally getting like there's no malice. They're not making fun of you when they tell you you need to improve in this area of your life. And they don't even really say it that way either. They guide you to figuring out these things for yourself. And like I said, it's non-biased. It's not your buddy down the road who says, "No, man, you're good, cool, bro, yeah, whatever." It's not that. It's not, you know, your mom going, "I love you, sweetie." Unfortunately, friends and family, they're biased. They have, you know, they want what's best for you, but sometimes they're gonna sugarcoat things. And, you know, a therapist is not gonna sugarcoat. They're not gonna, you know, beat around the bush. They're not going to hand you the answers immediately either, though. They are going to work with you so that you understand the answers. And so my opinion on therapy, everyone should go. Like, you should treat it like the dentist. Go every 6 months for a checkup, you know? Like, that's how it should work.
Yeah, well, and like a therapist isn't going to like push your limits, or they always work with you within like what you're comfortable with. Like, I think a long time ago I read, like, I think it was, like, Kristen Bell that said that she goes to therapy just for, like, tune-ups with, like, her husband. And, like, it's not, I don't think that they, like, have specific issues. It's just for tune-ups kind of thing, and it's just to keep everything good. And it's just like you said, like, you know, go every 6 months or once a year or whatever. And therapists aren't gonna like push you to your limits or whatever. Like, they're gonna work within your limits. Like, when I heard about like Kristen Bell and her husband, they, from what I understand, go to therapy every so often to like just get tune-ups, and it's not that necessarily anything is wrong. It's just they want to keep everything going well, like a vehicle. um yeah, so therapy's not a bad thing.
No, no, it's absolutely not. Especially like whether you're in a relationship or not, you should go and because if you're in a relationship, like you're gonna have disagreements. Any relationship that doesn't have disagreements, y'all gonna blow up at some point. So you're going to have these disagreements, you're going to have these issues, and sometimes it's going to be difficult for you to express yourself emotionally to your spouse. So going to a therapy like couples therapy is not a bad thing, because you're going to be able to have like a mitigator, translator there telling these people like, how you feel and everything, and help you express yourself and make your relationship stronger. Going on your own, going together, they're both good. They both should absolutely be done. You should be going as much as you can, and like it's part of embracing yourself too. Like, you look at me, okay, like I'm a 36-year-old guy, single, and I'm an artist, and I'm a photographer. I draw, I do all kinds of different types of art and stuff like that, but like I'm also not, I also try to be like physically strong as well. And that's just who I am. That's the way I want to be. There's nothing wrong with being like, your typical, you see the stereotypical artist that's like, a smaller person. There's nothing wrong with that. If you put all your energy and effort into your art, great. That's you. Be you. Be who you want you to be. If you look at like Amanda here, she's a health and wellness enthusiast. She models part-time. She's a homeowner. She's single too. Be who you want to be. Be you. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and it like also doesn't like make you weak to go to therapy or to talk to somebody. Honestly, it makes you a lot stronger to be able to, talk to them and to say that you're wrong, or to say that you love somebody, or that you're sorry. Like, it's not weak. What's weak is keeping all that to yourself, is not actually embracing like anything in life, or even yourself. Like, by not saying those things or doing those things, you're just not embracing even yourself. And like, honestly, that's just doing a disservice to yourself. So
yeah, like they say, the hardest things to say in life is I was wrong, I'm sorry, and I love you. No, put your pride aside and just embrace who you are, embrace what you are, and the rest will come with what you want. Just that's the biggest thing I got to say about all of that is embrace who you are and your strengths, and everything else will come into your life.
I agree.
Single.
So if anyone out there is wondering how to go about figuring out like who you are, what is your advice on that? Like, how would you go about finding out who you are, and like really developing that like strong knowing?
Okay, so after you've developed your foundation for your discipline, so your small goals, you're making your bed, you need to try new things. And you need to, as you try new things, you need to sort through those things, what you like, what you don't like, and sort them out. And if you don't like it, get rid of it. If you do like it, try it again. I always tell people, try everything twice. Because the first time might not have a good experience. Second time you might have done it better, right? So try everything twice. And there are going to be things in your life that will be a good experience. They will teach you something, and then you will move on from those things. And there will be other things in your life that are more defining. So you are going to try it, fall in love with it, and it will influence who who you are as a person. Give a good example. First time I tried photography back in 2010, I was hooked. I picked up a camera, went out, shot. The first thing I shot was some leaves on a branch, and the hardest part about that was the branch was moving in the wind, and I was trying to focus on it, and it was like, but it was such an awesome experience that I kept going with it, and then I tried, okay, I'm gonna do like landscape photography, and so I shot a bunch of that, and it was awesome. But then I like shot wildlife photography, and that was awesome. But then I moved from that, and I started doing like portraiture and modeling and stuff like that, and I shot that for a long time. And then I took a little bit of a break, and then when I came back to photography, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do landscape and wildlife, and then back to portraiture. Obviously, portraiture is the photography that I keep choosing to embrace, so that's what you embrace, right? And you figure these things out. Maybe you like sports, so you try hockey. That's not your thing. So you try soccer, and that's not your thing. And you like football, and I love football. Hey, football is your thing now. You have to embrace those things and like sort the things out. Like, don't play hockey because it was the first thing I picked, and now I have to. No. If you don't like it, try. If you want to try something different, try something different. You may end up in the spot that you want, right? Like, that goes for everything. Like music, movies, the company you keep. Some groups of people, you're not gonna, do we look like we hang out with alt rock people? No. So we don't. Nothing wrong with alt rock people, but because we have a self-confidence level in ourselves to know what we want around us, we're not gonna put ourselves around people that aren't going to influence us in the way that we want to be influenced. And so the same thing, like if I'm going to hang around, other photographers, like why would I hang around landscape photographers when I want to do more portraiture? How am I learning from a landscape photographer about portraiture? It's a completely different dynamic. So same thing with your modeling. Are you going to hang around a bunch of models that are doing like the really abstract, like dark, weird stuff under a plastic sheet, or like you're gonna hang around like the models that you want to learn from, right? For your style, and that comes with that embracement. Like everything comes down to that. Everything comes down to embracing who you are for what you want in your life. Being that you want, like if you're a video gamer, are you gonna be, around people playing Rocket League if you're into first-person shooters? Like, no. And that's as far as I'm going to go into video games, because as much as I know. But it comes down to embracement. It all comes down to embracement. You have to know what you want. And I will say one thing about that. Sometimes the best thing for you is the hardest thing for you too. Some pills are harder to swallow than others, and that's not a bad thing. And sometimes people are going to be in your life and they are going to give you a hard pill to swallow. That does not mean get rid of that person. That means swallow the damn pill. They're helping you, they're making your life better, and they will not give you that pill to swallow without also giving you the metaphorical glass of water to help you with that. They're not going to say, you suck at whatever, and then walk away. If they do that, and then get rid of that person. But if they will be the ones to say, hey, you need to improve your life in this regard. Otherwise, you are going to see some devastating consequences. And they will help you. They will say, well, then, they'll help you. They'll guide you through. They'll tell you, like, what are you good at? Well, you're awesome at that, so keep doing that. Keep being that person. They're gonna force you to find what you love about yourself. And that's the metaphorical glass of water to swallow that pill with, right? And if you have people in your life that are like that, those are definitely the ones to keep around, because they're the honest ones. They're the ones who are going to boost you up. And they're the ones who are going to tell you when you knocked yourself down. These people do not knock you down. They will not do that. They just point it out when you trip yourself. You know, that's the person, you know, you always hear that old saying, you know, you'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. Those are the quarters. It's the honest ones. You know, the 100 pennies are the ones that'll say you look fucking fantastic when you're obese. You know,
yeah,
it's a health thing. You should try to be healthy, and people should tell you when you need to put down the Snickers. Just saying. Not trying to be like rude or anything, but just saying. Your friends should not encourage bad behavior.
Yeah, no, it's like when you look like crap, they'll tell you look like crap.
Yep.
But you have to, like, in order to be able to do that with anybody, you, like, when you say embrace, you have to have confidence to embrace, and you have to, like, not fixate on, like, the negative parts of it. Like, you can't keep constantly knocking yourself down and expect to, like, embrace something good. So you kind of have to, like almost rewire your brain a little bit to embrace the good. I don't know.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, one of the best lessons I always learned, you know, I don't know if people have heard this before, but it's the first step in solving any problem is identifying that there is one. Well, I think a lot of people misconstrue that saying because, you know, they identify problems and then they just fixate on the problem. Part of that saying says the first step in solving the problem. So identify it, move on. You know what the problem is. Fixate on solutions, not the problem. If you fixate on the problem, you're pushing yourself down. That confidence you've worked so hard to build up is gonna start getting chipped and chipped and chipped because you're fixated on the issue. You should find solutions. If you don't know the solutions, go to therapy. Let's circle back on that one. Go to a therapist who is trained to help you find solutions. You know, do the steps, you know, to solve the issue, not just fixate on it.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, I had anxiety and stress issues, like, prior, because I was, like, off of work, and, you know, and at the time, I didn't really know that I, like, needed to be off of work and talk to a therapist and all of that, because, like, at the time my head was so jumbled, and, like, I was constantly thinking negative things, and, you know, kind of always getting into, like, arguments and really, like, irritable and just really not happy with myself. And so I hit a point where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I also thought to myself, like, I don't know how other people can just, you know, be so stuck and okay and content with being, like, miserable, or letting, you know, everything just, like, pile up and then just, you know, not do anything about it. Like, I don't know how you can think properly every day, because when I was going through all my stuff, I couldn't think straight. I couldn't think clearly. Like, everything was just everywhere. And that's when I knew that, you know, even if I didn't want to talk to anybody, I still, you know, talked to my doctor and talked to a therapist. And now I'm like happy. I'm back at work. I'm, like, less stressed. I still have anxiety, but it's less. And, you know, like, I'm actually able to focus on me and not, like, the negative stuff anymore. And it's just like you said, I can embrace good things. I can do, like, all the things that I want to do. I can focus on all the things that I want to do, and it's all good things now. It's not jumbled. Like, I can actually think clearly, and that's what therapy does for you. Like, those people are trained to help you to get out of these ruts, to get out of this jumbled mindset, whatever. Like, as much as you may think, oh no, therapy can't help me, I'm too, messed up, so to say. Like, I mean, nobody's really all that messed up. Like, it does help you. Like, you're really not that far gone. Just, you kind of just got to go for it and give it a shot. I mean, you really have nothing to lose. You're probably technically at rock bottom anyway when you do that. Yeah. Like, when you call the therapist. So just go. Like, seriously, it's stronger to go than not. Like, I think personally it's kind of weak to not go and seek help when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, a sign of weakness and fear is hiding from essentially yourself. Like, if you can't face yourself, how do you face other people on a daily basis with a constructive manner? Like, if you're, you got to look yourself in the mirror and go, hey, smart up. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. And that can be anything. I mean, you look at, any classic case of self-doubt, these people are sitting there going like, oh, I suck at this, so I'm not going to try. Mm-hmm. Well, how do you know you suck at it if you're not going to try? Mm-hmm. So right there, I can already break your thinking with logic right there. And therapy, it does that a lot. Like, it takes this jarbled rat's nest of your brain where, because you've tried to find the solutions and you're going from here to there to here to there, trying to find the solutions. Now you've got this mess, this tangled, it's like, look at the brain, like, December rolls around, you pull out the box of ornaments and you pull out the lights and it's all tangled. Like, I swear I organized this when I put it away, but now it's all tangled. Yeah. You got to untangle that. Well, that's what a therapist helps you do, is they take all these paths that you went through to end up at rock bottom, and they help you sort it all out. And they're like the GPS system for emotion and brain, and like the way your brain works. They help you sort everything out, so you find the solutions that you've maybe missed, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, if you're hiding it from yourself, I mean, that's just a form of weakness. You need to work on that weakness. And we're not, like, I don't know, I think I can speak for both of us here. We're not saying that people are out there are weak. We're just saying that, hey, maybe that's something you need to work on, is that weakness. Like, I have weaknesses, you have weaknesses. And that's one of somebody's weaknesses, that they need to work on working on themselves. And that's okay. Just do it, though. Just do it.
Yeah, like, I don't see why you'd want to stay stuck and stagnant when there's so much life out there, so much more that you can do, so much more that you can, like, grow into, like, just to become, like, your higher self. Like, for me, that kind of gives me a little bit more motivation, and, like, I try to, like, go with my, like, desires, and, like, you have desires for a reason, so why not just go and try them? At least try them. Sometimes they can change, but if you're not striving and trying to do better and going for the things that you want, then, like, I don't know, what's the point? Like, it just, like I said, like, sometimes it may seem like therapy can't help you, or you think that it's going to take too long, and in some cases maybe it might take a little while, but, like, I don't think it's as long as you really feel that it's going to be, and you're probably not as jumbled as you feel. Like, I thought that I was going to be going to therapy longer than I did, and needing more different therapy, and I really didn't. A lot of the things that they tell you there, it's pretty simple, like all their exercises, but you don't know them, you don't think about them, you don't realize that they're out there until they show you, until they explain it to you. And, like, honestly, like, all the time leaving the therapist's office, I, like, literally felt relieved, like there was a weight off my shoulders every single time, because of these exercises, because of the insight that she gave me. So, like, honestly, like, why waste your life, it's like worrying about all these negative things and hating on yourself, when honestly you're probably way better than you think you are. But you're just so stuck in this cycle of negativity, of negative thinking, that it's hard to get motivation. Like, I mean, I was there too, but at some point you just have to push yourself to actually go and do something about it. And when you do, you feel so much better. But you just have to get that first like kick to go. Like, maybe
Yep.
let's a friend kick you. I don't know. I don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a good friend here that, like, if I'm ever like just like down and out, or like I'm, I don't know, being incredibly negative or just not being me or whatever, he's here and he'll tell me like, hey, you need to smarten up. Like, you've got to get this fixed. You got to figure this out. And that's what you need in your life, is like good friends like him. Like, you've got to keep going. Don't just sit there on your ass all day just thinking about all the negative stuff, all the negative problems that you have. Go out and like actually find solutions and fix them. Don't just keep going in a circle of negative stuff and thinking about your problems, because that doesn't do anything. Just thinking about them doesn't do anything. You actually have to put action to it, and once you do, you feel so much better. And then like you can leave that, whatever the negative thought was or problem, in the past once you fix it, and then it turns into a lesson, not a problem anymore. So
yeah, well, and like you said, you don't know how long therapy's going to take. Well, I can tell you this right now: the longer you take to go to therapy, the longer it takes. So if you don't want it to take that long, go now.
Yeah.
That's, I swear, that the longest part about going to therapy is deciding to go to therapy.
Yeah.
So just go, and you'll get it done faster that way. Go with an open mind, and that will help too. Like, if you don't want to be in therapy for a long time, go right now and go in with an open mind.
Yeah.
Listen to what they say and try it. Next thing you know, you won't be in, a 6-month round of therapy in 2 different ways turns into 3 months with a very simple way, because you were open to it, right? And, that's absolutely true. And it's like, same goes for Amanda here. If I'm like in a dumpy mood, or if I'm just like, not in a good thing, she's like, hey, pick it up, let's go, make it happen. And she's not sitting here belittling me or anything. She's just pointing out that that I'm better than whatever it is I'm doing. And that's like I said, that's part of surrounding yourself with that, and holding your own standard. You have to remember, a lot of people have this hypocrisy where they hold a standard on others but not themselves. And whatever standard you hold to somebody else, you must hold that to yourself. If I'm saying to Amanda here, you treat me with respect, you tell me good things, well, then I better be treating myself with respect and telling myself good things. I get that. If you expect other people to do the work for you, it'll never stick. Never. Yeah.
Well, you have to give yourself the validation and not seek it from others. Like,
yeah,
that's also part of it too. Like, you can't, like, what if one day, like, you're the only person on the planet? Where are you going to get your validation from? I mean, you have to be strong within yourself, not take from other people. Like, you just have to find the validation from you, and just know that you're good enough, and you can do all these things, and that you're strong. And like, you can't, because like, honestly, when you try and get validation from other people, you come off as desperate and needy, and basically, like, it sounds kind of bad, but kind of like not worth bothering with, in a sense, because like a lot of people don't really want to give validation. Like, okay, I personally, I'm not big on validation, but I just think that like it also makes people stronger just to give yourself validation than it is to receive it from others. Because like, honestly, if you take it from others, you're just gonna need more and more and more and more. It's just never gonna end. It's like, I don't know what, like nicotine, like smoking. I mean, really.
Yeah, it's gonna wear, it's gonna wear off, right? And like, I've had this, like, especially lately, because like before I used to always look at people as like, like a glass, you fill it with water. Okay, recently I've kind of changed my mindset on that, and I look at people as more of like, a colander. Okay, and your self confidence turns you into like a bull. Okay, like anytime, like if you are just seeking validation externally, if you are just seeking, you know, other people to do the work for you, you are not, you know, you're not covering up those holes in yourself, and so any of that validation that other people pour into you is just going to leak out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you get the self confidence to and you cover all of those holes, and you're doing things for yourself and everything, even external validation, it won't be as much. It'll stay in the bowl. Like you put in 1 cup of validation water, and then Buddy puts in, a little quarter teaspoon of validation.
Yeah.
That's fine. It'll all stick. But you need to be the one contributing the most to yourself. You absolutely do. Like I'm thinking like 80-20. Like a person should really be doing 80% of their own self-confidence, validation, everything. You know what? You can take that 20% that other people give you as reinforcements, as guidance that you're doing good. Like when a buddy says, "Hey man, you're doing awesome. Like fucking you're looking swole, or you just seem happier." You're like all of those types of things. Okay, that's that 20%. That's that little bit of like, you know what? They're guiding you. They're saying, "Hey, you're doing a good job," and that's okay. But you need to also believe it yourself. When they say, "Hey, you're looking really happy today. You're looking good," you need to be like, "Thanks, man. I know it. Don't be a dick."
Yeah.
But believe it. Believe it for yourself first, right? And then that way you're doing the majority of the work anyway, and it's gonna stick that way. It's just that's the way it's gonna work, So.
Yeah. It might sound, I don't know, maybe cliche, I don't know, maybe you've heard it before, but like affirmations do help with that. Like I know a lot of people don't like doing affirmations and like, looking into a mirror and being like, "Hey, I'm awesome. Hey, I have this. Hey, I have beautiful eyes," whatever. And at first, like, I mean, you're probably not going to believe it, but as you continue and keep going, you will, and like you'll find that like other people will actually start saying those same things to you. Like if you do say like, "Hey, I have beautiful eyes," someone's gonna come around and be like, "Hey, have you ever noticed your eyes are so beautiful," or whatever. And that, at least for me, like is going to make you believe it even more. You're gonna realize like that like what you're telling yourself is true, and it is. Like all your good attributes are true. All your good things are true. You just have to believe it. And once you keep going and doing and saying these things, then more things are going to come up that are positive about yourself, and like other people are going to see things positively about you that you probably didn't even know to begin with, and that's going to add on, and that's going to build your confidence. That's going to build everything, like, and you're going to be like, "Hey, I'm awesome," not in a in a conceited way, but like in a confident way where if somebody's rude to you or doesn't see your worth or whatever, it's not gonna hit you as hard as if you weren't confident, as if you needed other people's validation, because you validate yourself, you're confident in yourself, you love yourself, you don't need to take it from somebody else. You already give it to yourself. And I think that's a big thing that you have to learn to do and grow into. And honestly, like that's one thing though that does not just come overnight. You actually have to work at it. I mean, when I was younger, I wasn't confident at all, like at all. I was the shy girl, like very shy. And I mean, if you talk to anybody now, they're gonna tell you that I don't shut up. That I mean, I have a decent amount of confidence most of the time.
These things are true. Yeah.
And but I had to work on it, and I had to tell myself good things about myself, and eventually I started believing it, and other people actually started saying these things to me. Like literally one day I was just telling myself, "Hey, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful." And I was at work one day and a girl actually came up to me and was like, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you, you are beautiful." And I was like shocked, because literally it was like, I believe it was that day, but it could have been through that week. that I was telling myself that, and she literally like came up to me, like went out of her way to come up to me and tell me that, and that's when I really believed it. And yeah, like just if you keep telling yourself that, like it is going to happen, like people are going to see these things, and they may tell you, they may not, but they will see it, and you'll feel it too. But you have to put in the work. None of this comes from just sitting around doing nothing. By like thinking negative things and thinking about all your problems is not gonna do anything. You're just gonna literally, like, sounds harsh, but you'll probably die like an old lady, old man, all by yourself, like
Yep.
in a wheelchair, you know, just
Screaming at kids telling them to get off your lawn.
right, like out the window. Like, I mean, I personally don't want that, and so that's why I constantly work on myself and keep going, and I surround myself with good friends, and it doesn't, and good family, and like it doesn't have to be a big circle. It can just be a little circle that of people that have your back and that like hold you accountable. Like you need to be accountable. They have, like, it doesn't do anything if you're not. You have to have these things, and you have to put in the work. And once you do it, you feel a lot better, and everything, honestly, like as much work as it takes, it like clears your mind, like everything comes together. Yeah, like it may take work, but literally when you're done the work, like you're good. You're honestly good. You just have to trust it. Like with great risk comes great like reward. You have to just do it. Just do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and just to circle back to my point I made earlier about starting good habits, like making your bed, that's a goal. Well, make a goal of tell yourself one thing a day that's good about you. You know, start with that. Like, you know, affirm to yourself, hey, I'm an awesome cook, or I'm a great driver, or I have really pretty eyes, or, you know, my laugh is contagious, stuff like that. Like, something very simple. Tell yourself it every day. Yeah, at first it's going to sound cliche. At first it's going to sound a little forced. But as you build that habit, it just becomes behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And that behavior is showcased in what you do to other people and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And like Amanda said about, you know, you think you tell yourself you have beautiful eyes, well then somebody's going to tell you you have beautiful eyes. Well, that's because what you don't realize is going on behind the scenes in your brain, so to speak, is that the more you affirm to yourself that you are good and that you raise your own standards, you start to accent your own features more in confidence. So if you're talking, let's use the eyes as a good example. If you're talking to people and if you're not secure about your physical looks or anything like that, or like maybe you think you have ugly eyes or maybe whatever, when you're talking to somebody with this negative thought, you're going to tend to look away more. You're going to tend to, you're going to avert your gaze downwards. You're going to, minimize the amount of interaction they have with you. They're not going to notice these features. Now, when you affirm to yourself, I have nice eyes, I have a good smile, things like that, as you talk to people, as you build this habit, you are going to start to see changes in the way you behave when you talk to people. You are going to make more eye contact. You are going to be more engaging. And that is why they notice these things, is because you're psychologically conditioning yourself to showcase your confidence more. And people are going to see that because you put it in front of them to see, whereas normally you tend to hide behind stage and just be the curtain puller. You're making yourself the actual lead character in the play that is your life, and that's what you need to do. Okay, because what are you gonna do? You're gonna be 89 years old staring out the window, getting that weird tan across your face because of the sunlight and the shade, or because you've always been the curtain puller of your own life, or are you gonna get on stage and be the main character of your life? It's here's the play. It's Robert, written and directed by me. Why in the hell am I pulling the stage curtain? No, get out there and do it. And people will, they'll see it. You'll gravitate more good people in your life. Because the good people they're gonna have these standards too. If you want good people in your life, you have to be a good person.
Yeah.
Okay? No good self-respecting person is going to want to have a negative person in their life constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like they may invite you into their life, you may become friends with them, but if you're just constantly dragging them down because they have a standard that they've set for themselves, they're going to cut you loose. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that to be rude, it's just the truth.
Yeah.
So set your own standard. Mm-hmm. Show the growth. And good people, if they see you're growing, they're not going to cut you loose. They're going to encourage you. And they're going to find ways to help you encourage yourself. And next thing you know, more people are winning. More people are prospering. Mm-hmm. And this can affect your life in every way, okay? It can affect your friendships, your family, your relationships, your financial situation, your career. All of that can become affected. If you are trying to become an entrepreneur, but you can't talk to somebody to save your life, how are you going to sell them on whatever it is you're trying to do as a self-business? You look at me as a photographer. How am I going to get people to allow me to take their photos if I can't present myself confidently in doing so? If I come up to you and say, do you need your picture taken?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you gonna contract me? If I come up to you and say, hey, your headshots suck, I can do them better. That's not a good either. Okay? Because now I'm coming across really conceited that, I'm better than all these other photographers, right? But if I just say, hey, this is what I do. I shoot portraiture. I do professional portraits for LinkedIn, for your office. I do weddings. I do creatives, depending on what you're looking for. Here's my portfolio. Check out my work. And then just say, like, if you want to work, if you need some photos done, here's my card. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, I know it's 2022. We don't carry cards anymore. It's a turn of phrase. But then you'll come and reach out to me and go, hey, you're that photographer. I need headshots done. Mm-hmm. Boom, got the job. Yeah. So your confidence in all aspects of your life is extraordinarily key, and only you can set the standard to what that confidence looks like.
Yeah. I agree. With all of that. So previously in this video, we talked about doing the work in order to better your mental health. We also talked about trying new things, how to figure yourself out, habit building, with proper routines, flexibility, embracement, managing fear and doubt. Also a big one was therapy. And there is one other one that's really important, is putting your pride aside as well. So which one of those do you want to touch on?
Well, let's start with the pride, because I think pride really is going to affect everything that we've kind of talked about today. If you are allowing your pride and ego to dictate terms in your life, if you're allowing them to basically state, no, you can't fix this, you can't do that, we can't admit wrongdoings here and there, it's going to cause a lot of strife, and it's going to really slow down any ability you have to progress in life or any of a process what's going on in your life. Mm-hmm. And so putting your pride aside, I think, in terms of doing the work, well, I mean, if you're being prideful, you're not going to do the work, at least not properly. You might try to rush through it just to get it done, get it done. So don't do that. Put your pride aside to work, do the work. Okay. Put your pride aside when you're trying new things. Don't say, oh, well, I don't like that. I don't even have any interest in that. Don't say those things. Just try it. Mm-hmm. After you've tried it twice, if you don't like it, then it's not pride talking. It's you. Mm-hmm. When it comes to, even your habit building and stuff like that, like a lot of people, they just think, well, I don't care. Well, that's your pride saying you don't care. So if you put that aside, you will start to care. You will start to do the things that need to be done to build these habits. Pride really affects everything we've talked about today, even going to therapy. Oh, I don't need therapy. Yes, you do. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. It's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. Okay? I mean, needing therapy is like needing food. We all need to eat. So we all need to feed our emotional side too. And just as a man, like speaking as a man, we all have the same emotions as women do. We all have the same emotions as humans do, really. So don't let your pride hold you back from embracing your own emotions. Allow your emotions to help guide you through things. That if you're feeling frustrated, okay, figure out why you're frustrated. Fix it. If something makes you happy, embrace that happy. If you love something or someone, just say the words. Enough with this, oh, I'm a man, I don't need to, drink a beer. No, okay, just, it's okay. Have emotions. Doesn't make you weaker, makes you stronger. Okay, being emotionally strong is just as important as being physically strong and mentally strong. So just do it. Okay, put that pride aside, put that ego down, do the work. That's my 2 cents on the whole thing anyway, is if you want to be stronger, put your pride away, embrace all aspects of who you are. That's my opinion on that anyway.
No, I agree. And like a lot of the time, at least on my side of things, and in some experiences, at the times, I didn't know that it was like usually pride that was always in the way with a lot of things. Whether that's with other people, friends, guys, me, myself. A lot of the time I didn't know that that was one of the things that was like always in the way. And knowing this now, it's like that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like there's a lot of like communication errors that didn't have to be an error at the time if pride wasn't a factor. And like even with like me too, like myself, I probably would have explained things a lot better too if I had known it was a pride thing. And like it would have stopped a lot of fights and issues, and just like it would have made everything a lot smoother if I had known it was pride and how to figure out how to overcome pride, and how to also, like, I guess in a sense maybe like help others figure out that it was a pride thing. Because I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I never knew I knew what it was, but I didn't know what it felt like. I didn't know that, oh crap, that's my pride talking. I didn't know that. And so now that I know these things, I can actually help other people and figure it out, and know how to kind of communicate with them better, and kind of sort of move around the pride a little bit. But
yeah, no, for sure. And even if you do like screw up big time, or even if you make mistakes, every mistake you make in your life is an opportunity to learn. And every screw up that you make, whether it's on yourself or with others, if you put the effort in to fixing that mistake, if you mess up, if you put that effort in, people that that your mistakes affect, they'll see that. And the good people, they will still embrace you for who you are, because they know you're not going to be perfect, and they love you even though you're not perfect. They love you because you're not perfect.
yeah.
And they're going to be understanding. You're gonna have like slips and falls and stuff like that, and it's okay. Just put the effort in, and it's okay. As long as you're doing something about it, and pride will always get in the way of that. So the only time you should ever use pride is when like, hands down, this is the right thing, and it benefits you as well as the ones you care about. But other than that, sometimes you always need to reevaluate those. Anything you think you're right about, you should be double checking. Not because you doubt yourself, just to make sure that you're putting your cards where they belong. And if you're wrong, that's okay. Make it right. It's fine. So in my experience with everything I've been through, I've been wrong. I've been wrong, and I've been wronged. And I think the biggest part for me was like, it came down to a lot of forgiveness. It came down to like not only forgiving the people who did wrong to me, but also like forgiving myself for being wrong, or like having these wrong things for whatever reason. You have to forgive yourself too, and don't forget about that part along with everything else. Is you can't embrace yourself if you don't forgive yourself. So
Yeah, and you kind of have to be like a little more flexible too, to even like realize it and like to do the work to fix it. Because if you're stuck, if you're always thinking about negative stuff and all your problems, you can't do anything. You can't fix that. You can't do anything that we have discussed in this video if you don't, well, kind of loosen up a bit and like just open your eyes and just try things, and don't be so stubborn about therapy or you know, trying to figure things out or doing better, or you know, like think it is thinking about you, but like if you're completely stuck, then the people around you are gonna feel it too. So it's kind of doing both. It's helping you and the people you're around, because like people aren't gonna want to be around you if you're just like sucking the life out of them. So
that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, put your pride aside. It's worth it. I mean, if you want the life you want and to have like loving like relationships, or just with friends, family, whatever, I mean, it's worth it. Put it aside. We all have pride, but some have more than others, and sometimes you need to get your pride in check in order to actually grow and get the life you want. Because I think we all dream about a life that we want, and
oh, absolutely.
and I mean, like personally, I don't want to be stuck in pride and not get the life I want. Like there's nothing strong about trying to stick to your pride unless it's like you know you're absolutely like right, like you're on the right side of the spectrum. You're not just like being prideful just for the sake of being prideful, because you know, like
yeah, it's all about self-evaluation at that. and but that requires the work too. Like, you know, we say like put in the work. Well, to know you're right, you have to put in the work to know that, right? So yeah,
it's all a circle.
Yeah.
Alright, well, that wraps up this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons down below, as well as the notification bell. It really helps my channel grow. And thank you to Robert for being here today and giving his 2 cents on today's discussion. And again, if you guys want to check him out, you can go to his YouTube, which is Messenger Imagery, and his Instagram is also Messenger Imagery, but there's an underscore between Messenger and Imagery. I will have it linked down below for you guys as well. And yeah, so that is it for us. We are going to go to our photo shoot now, but remember,
you are loved and appreciated.
Bye.
Oh, I thought we were both saying that.
No.
Bye.
Okay.
There's a blooper.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here. So today we are talking about mental health, and we are trying something different today. As you can see, I have a guest sitting here with me.
Hello.
This is Robert. This is Robert. He is a photographer. I spat. This is
The hair under your eyes too.
This is Robert.
Hi everybody.
He is a photographer and a YouTuber, and I fucked that up because I didn't look at the fucking camera. Let's try that again. It's gonna be 45 minutes of fucking bullshit.
That's very about it. We've got this, darling. You gotta sip on it now.
Okay.
Okay. Twerks. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more.
I can't do it with a straight face.
Enough. Tonight, 6 o'clock news. I'm Carlo. Carlo, because the tire's flat. So I just gotta say, this coffee is grande.
Grande. This coffee is bent. You idiot.
And cut.
You haven't done that yet. Oh, like, what's his face? What's his face? What's his face? Anchorman. Doesn't he go, wow, wow, wow?
I know on Bruce Almighty, he did the trick and the
Oh,
guy
right,
was
he's like,
yeah, that.
and we're back. Go. 3, 1, no. Five.
Action.
Am I starting?
Yeah.
What?
Welcome to 6 o'clock news. I'm Oswald. Oswald that ends Wald. This is my co-anchor, Sarah. Sarah Nader. Directed by Adolf Inn.
Adolphin?
Adolphin.
A dolphin!
That's right, this channel is directed by a dolphin. Doesn't that explain a lot?
This is the new Anchorman.
The script just says, "Aye."